Hey everyone, welcome to beginning Anishinaabemowin Ojibwe series. This is a 4-part series and they're all going to be pre-recorded. I'll be your instructor. My name is Chelsea Camiso and I work out of Lakehead University in Thunder Bay as an outreach coordinator. And yeah, just a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Thunder Bay on the traditional lands of the Fort William First Nation. I recently moved to Pemberton, BC, which is on the traditional lands of the Lillooet Nation. I graduated with a Bachelor in Arts in Indigenous Learning from Lakehead University. And yeah, I just love spending time with my family, teaching, learning new things, camping, hiking, and swimming. Here's my email if you need to get a hold of me, or you can message Kelsey as well. I'm sure she'll give you her email or send you some emails. Just a disclaimer, I am not fluent in this language. However, I've taken beginner and intermediate courses at Lakehead University, and this course is going to be really similar to what you would take in the beginner course. It was a Severn Ojibwe dialect, but I'm trying not to focus too much on dialect. I will give alternate spelling, alternate pronunciations for certain words throughout this course. So if you guys are tech savvy and you want to learn on the go, here are some apps you can download from the App Store. I'm not sure which ones are the Apple Store or the Android Store, but these are some of the apps you can look for. You can always check out this slide on Google Drive. There's a bunch of stuff you're going to need from Google Drive. So we'll send you a link to a Google Drive and then I'll give you access to it and you'll be able to get the slides and other documents from today. So some course objectives. So by the end of this course, I hope that you can gain a passion for the language and be eager to learn more, be able to pronounce words accurately, be able to understand the language basics while listening, be able to introduce yourself, and be able to have basic dialogue while living and interacting in everyday situations, and gain a better appreciation and understanding of Anishinaabe worldview, and gain a sense of traditions, customs, and the historical and modern view of Anishinaabe life. So what is Anishinaabemowin? So Anishinaabemowin is also called Ojibwe-mowin, or the Ojibwe or Ojibwa language, or Chippewa. It's an indigenous language, which is part of the Central Algonquin language family, which is a group of closely related indigenous languages. The Anishinaabe speak Anishinaabemowin, or Anishinaabe languages that belong to the Algonquin language family and can describe various indigenous peoples in North America. So the Anishinaabe includes the Odawa, the Ojibwe, including Mississaugas, the Oji-Cree, Fox, Shawnee, and Algonquin peoples with similar sounds, words, and features. So the Central Algonquin language is part of the larger Algonquin language family, which spans from the Rocky Mountains to the eastern seaboard. So here's a map here where the language spans from the US into Canada, all the way to, looks like Edmonton and Calgary. So what is Ojibwe? So a lot of people use Anishinaabe and Ojibwe interchangeably, but they can have different meanings. So Ojibwe refers to a specific Anishinaabe nation, and the plural of Anishinaabe is Anishinaabeg. So that refers to many Anishinaabe people. So historically, there was a specialized form of symbol writing to communicate teachings sacred to the Ojibwe people. While Anishinaabe continued to honor symbol writing, written forms of Anishinaabemowin using Roman orthography, or the Latin alphabet, is the primary form of written communication. So Christian priests and missionaries actually would use this to write Anishinaabemowin so that they could actively convert indigenous peoples to Christianity. And Roman Catholic missionary Frederick Baraga actively learned the language, and he was the one that wrote everything down. So he authored his own dictionary in 1853. Beginning in the mid 20th century, linguist Charles Fiero helped develop the double vowel system that is widely used today. So Fiero system is considered easier to use than the folk phonetic style. So the folk phonetic style would be putting little dashes in between each word. And Fiero system basically took out the dashes and shortened the words. So for the action, he or she is dreaming, what you used to say or write would be ba we ji ge. So Fiero system is now shortened, so ba we ji ge. So it's just a different way, but while you're learning, I encourage you to use the folk phonetic style while writing these words because it's super helpful just to break the words down into threes or fours. All right, so Gaing Wang, the Anishinaabemowin alphabet. So the Anishinaabemowin alphabet is a lot different than the English alphabet, most specifically as there's some letters that aren't even in the language. So these are the letters that are not used. So C, F, L, Q, R, U, V, and X. So these letters are not used in the language at all. So you won't see any words spelt with those letters. So the Anishinaabemowin alphabet has short vowels and long vowels. So the short vowels are, it means that when you pronounce a word, you're going to say it kind of short and cut off instead of like a long vowel where you would extend your voice a little bit. So an A, so the A, just one A, not the double A, is pronounced as in but. So while I'm reading these, just maybe say them out loud or repeat what I'm saying. So I is pronounced as in bit or pin. O is pronounced O as in bow or obey. And there's no U. Right, so long vowels. So these are the double vowels. And I also added E in there because even though the E looks like a short vowel, it's actually pronounced as a long vowel. So you would pronounce the E like as in bet or cafe. So it's more of a longer sound. So the double A is pronounced as in shawl or father. The double I is pronounced E as in feet or seen. The double O is pronounced oo as in boo. So using Fiero's double vowel system, some vowel sounds may be long, like we talked about, and some may be short. And the delivery of each sound can greatly alter the meaning. For example, Zagaigan means lake, whereas similarly spelled Zagaigan means nail. So it's all about pronunciation. All right, so we're going to go over the consonants that are in the language. So I'm going to read it and then I want you to repeat it. So B as in big. P as in potato. CH as in ch as in stitch. J as in jump. D as in do. T as in picked. G as in goose. And following an N sound would be the same as song. So goose or song. K as in sick. H is not a common sound, but it's the same as the H in hello. Some who write the Anishinaabemowin also use it for a glottal stop, which we're going to talk about in a minute. M as in man. N as in name. S as in miss. Z as in zipper. So S is miss, Z is zipper. SH as in bush, sh. ZH is the S in measure, or the J in bonjour, jour. So you kind of want to make your mouth like jour, like that. W as in way, and Y as in yellow. Okay, and you could always come back to these slides and practice. So a glottal stop is actually in the alphabet. So this is considered a letter. So it's a type of consonantal sound that's used in many spoken languages, and it's produced by obstructing the airflow in your vocal tract. So it's written like an apostrophe. So you'll have a short pause, and then you're gonna kind of choke a little bit. So you're gonna say, oh, so it's that sound where you're kind of don't have any airflow coming through. So you'll see that in a few words, like the one we said earlier, zagaigan, zagaigan, zagaigan means lake. All right, so we're gonna go over the sound chart. There's a printout on the Google Drive of the sound chart. If you don't have the Google Drive, you can just go to Google, type in Anishinaabemowin sound chart, and once you come right up. But before we go over that, we're gonna watch a video.
Ani, bonjour. Barbara Nolan, Dijnikas. Quikinomonim nangwa. Nin de squinjamachstame. Nandun shbiganan in kazang. Unduk shbiganak kina in kazang. Week skitoyek. Weekend mek gego Anishinaabe bigadek. So today I'm going to teach you the writing system that we use when we are writing the language. Probably most of you have seen the language written at some point, and you do not know how to read it perhaps, or maybe you yourselves want to write it and you don't know how to write it. Okay, so we had standardized the writing system back in 1989. A group of us language instructors had met, and we started standardizing so that all language instructors use the same system, writing system. However, there are still some people that tend to use whatever they want, but that's up to them. Now, so the language, we have a bunch of vowels that we use. And we have these consonants, they're called. These here on the left-hand side are consonants that we use. The other ones on this side, okay, the first 3 rows are called short vowels. And the other ones, there's 4, they're long vowels. That means the sound is short or long, okay? So here's the sounds. The sounds of the consonants I'll go through first. And sometimes one area like Sagamok or Garden River or Manitoulin, they might have a p sound, and maybe another community might have a b sound. So the first 2 are b and p. B and p. They're very related. And when we go through later on in some of the words, you will find, you will hear that, okay? So b and P, D, and T. Okay, so D is more of a, I don't know what you would call it, and the T, okay? And then G and K and J and Ch and Z and S and J and Sh. M is just one, doesn't have any relative. It's all by itself. And then we have N, and we have W and Y. And then this here apostrophe is what we call a glottal stop. It's a glottal stop. You'll find it in some of our words, not a lot, but you will find it. For example, must not be good. So it's that, it's like that kind of sound. So those are our consonants. These ones are our short vowels, the first three, and these ones here are our long vowels. So I'm going to show you what they sound like, and then I'm going to put the consonant to the vowel, and then you will see what that sounds like. If you memorize this whole chart, I guarantee you can write any word in the language. That's how easy it'll be. But you have to memorize this whole chart. Okay, so this is B, 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 Ba, B, Bo, Be. Now, you'll notice that this one has just one vowel, and you're going to say that's a short vowel. It's not a short vowel because it's long in its sound. Okay, so I'll do it without the constant. A, I, O, A, I, O, E. See how the first three are short sounds? A, I, O. And then the next four are long sounds. A, I, O, E. Okay, so now we're just going to put the consonant with it. B, B, bo, ba, bi, bo, be. Now we're going to put the P, 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 pa, pi, po, pe. Da, de, do, da, di, do, de. Ta, te, to, ta, ti, to, te. G, ge, go, ga, gi, go, ge. Ka, ke, ko, ka, ki, ko, ke. J, j, jo, ja, ji, jo, je. Ch, ch, cho, cha, chi, cho, che. Z, z, zo, za, zi, zo, ze. S, se, so, sa, si, so, se. J, je, jo, ja, ji, jo, je. Sh, she, sho, sha, shi, sho, she. Ma, me, mo, ma, mi, mo, me. Na, ne, no, na, ni, no, ne. Wa, we, wo, wa, we, wo, we. Ya, ye, yo, ya, yi, yo, ye. And then finally, that's the glottal. E, O, E. So it's kind of between here and here. You don't find the glottal. In some of the dialects, though, you'll find it more so. In Western Ojibwe, they have a lot of the glottal sounds in their language. Now I'm going to give you an example. How do I make a word out of what I just taught you? How would you make a word? Or, okay, let's take an easy one. Okay, let's say we want to write, a lot of people say Bama P for later, okay? You hear a lot of say Bama or Bama P Gawap Min. Okay, let's take that word Bama. Okay, so you look for your B. Ah, there's your ah, ba, and ma, M, ma, Bama. And if you want to say P, then you would find the P. It's up here. P. There's your P sound. Okay? So the pattern usually is like this. You have a consonant, you have a vowel, you have a consonant, you have a vowel, you have a consonant, and you have a vowel. Usually that's the pattern of our language writing. That's the pattern. Some of us are known to be vowel droppers. So sometimes you don't see those little, especially the short vowels in our language writing and in our speaking because we talk so fast normally. Okay, so let's find another word. Let's say you want to write Gmon. Gmon is a canoe, okay? So you go and you look for J. Maybe you want to write G. Okay, there you go. G. Mon. So look for Ma. There it is. Ma. And N. Gmon. That's your boat. Okay. So here again, you have your constant. You have your vowel, your long vowel. You have your consonant, you have your vowel, and you have your consonant. Okay? Now, I've only showed you the long vowels. Let's take a short vowel verb or word. Then we can see how we can use it. Okay, let's say for the word for sick, akuzet, akuzet. So there's a long vowel sound in the beginning, and then there's two short vowel sounds, okay? So, oops, k, z, where's z, z. So here's your vowels again. And here's your consonants. Akuzet. He is sick or she is sick. Okay, so it's very, very easy. Once you get the gist of it and you want to write in the language, following this chart, you can do so. Now, have fun trying to write the language or read it. You know, sometimes you're driving by a reserve somewhere and then they have Gima Street, okay? Or might have the name of the reserve might be in the language. Now, mind you, some of them didn't follow this verb chart here or this writing chart, but most of them do. Naho, pamamino.
Okay, hopefully that video was very helpful. We're gonna go over the sound chart more in depth. So if you could get that in front of you, or just Google search Anishinaabemowin sound chart. Let me just share it. All right. So it might help you to write on your sound chart. Feel free to do that. I'm gonna say the word and then I want you to repeat it. So the first row we're gonna do are the ahs. So the double vowel or long vowel sound, which is a double A. So for b, b is ba. So 1, 2, 3, ba. So ch, ch sound is cha, cha. D sound, d, da, da. G sound is g. So ga, ga. J sound is j. So ja, ja. The K sound, k, ka, ka. M, ma, ma. N sound is n, na, na. P sound, p, pa, pa. S, sa, sa. So sh, sha, sha. So t, ta, ta. W, wa, wa. Y, yeah, yeah. So Z is za. So S is sa, Z is za. So they're similar, but you'll get it. So ZH, ja, ja. So SH is sha, ZH is ja. Okay. So double I, so that's like a double E sound. So feet, feet. That's the sound of the double I, right? So B in front of the double I would be B, B. And you could write under here B-E-E if it helps you. C-H, chi, chi. D, D, D. So the G is G, G. So gi. So I wrote gi under there because sometimes you want to say G, but it's actually gi. So you might mix it up with the J. So the J is a J, like as in jump. So you want to say G, G. So gi and G. So K, ki. M, me, me. N, ni, ni. P, p. S, C, C. SH, she, she. And you could write SHE there if that helps. T, T, T. W, we. Y, ye, ye. Z, Z, Z. ZH, G, G, G. Okay. So now we're going to do the double O's, which is a oo sound. So B would be boo, CH, chew, chew, d, do, do, goo, goo, j, jew, jew, coo, coo, moo, moo, new. So you could write N-E-W under this to help you. New, poo, sue, shoe, S-H, shoe. So you could write S-H-O-E. Two, woo, you. So Z is zoo, and ZH is zhu, zhu. So it's kind of a J sound, but it's the ZH, so zhu. All right, so the E, the final long vowel, even though it looks like a short vowel. So it's got a eh sound. So with the B, it would be be, be, che, de, ge, je. So che, je, ke, ke, me, ne, ne, pe, se, she. So it's not she, it's she. So just, you could put a little H on the end to remind you. She. Te, we, ye, ze, je. So it's that kind of a J sound. So je. All right, so our first short vowel is the A, and it's pronounced ah, ba. So it's really short, ba, ba. Okay, CH, cha. Da, da. Ga, ga. Ja. So ga, ja, ja. Ka, ka. Ma, ma. Na, na. Pa, pa. Sa, sa. Sha, sha. Ta, ta. Wa, wa. Ya, ya. So it's not ya, it's ya, like short. Za, za, and ja, ja. Okay, so now we're gonna do our I's. So this is kind of like an IH sound, like eh, eh. So be, be. Che, che. De, de. So G and J. So the G is g, g. So j, or sorry, g. It's confusing. G. And the J, j, j. K, k. Me, me. Ne, ne. Pe, pe. Se, se. She, she. Te, te. We, we. Ye, ye. Z, z. She, she, she. Okay, so the O sound is just like an O, so a short O. So bo, bo. Cho, cho. Do, go. Jo, jo. Go, jo. Ko, ko. mo, mo, no, no, po, po, so, show, 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 toe, 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 whoa, 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 yo, yo, so, show, show, show. All right, so you can go over this in your free time. It'll be on the Google Drive. Now we're going to move on to our next subject.
Just a reminder that you can pause at any point and come back and practice if you want, and then keep going.
Yep. It's a great thing about online recordings. All right, so we're just going to go over the consonant clusters really quickly. So this can often be discouraging for new learners, but we're going to go through it. So if you see an SK or a KW together, such as in the word misqua, which means is red. So it's really not that hard once you break it down. So it looks intimidating, but once you get going, I'm sure you'll get it. So if you just break down the words into threes, so SHP. So how would you pronounce that? So you'd see how it's broken down. So ish, pim, ming, ish, piming, which means up above in heaven. So SHT. So how would you say that? So you break it down. Shittig, shittigwan, shittig, shittigwan, which means head. A GW, so memengua, memengua, which is a butterfly. A KW, so makwa, which is a bear. There's a bear behind me. ND, so and with the double vowel A. So ondeg, which is a crow. The NG, so it's the same as in song. So you'd say mong, which is a loon. And the NJ, so how would you pronounce that? So you'd say ninj, which is a hand or finger. So it's not that hard once you see it fully spelt out. You just break it down. Okay, so the next thing we're going to go over is numbers. It's okay if this video, if you don't take notes during this video, because it goes kind of fast. I have a Word doc where I wrote down all the numbers, so you can just go over it. I'll show you that quickly. So this is on the Google Drive.
And we should have this as a link on the recording too. So if you look onto where you clicked for the recording, you'll also find a link for this document.
Perfect. So they'll see this list on the Google Drive. So we're just going to watch a quick video about numbers.
Welcome, Nana Bojo, Ani, Bindigeg. My name is Darren Corbier. I'm here with Sioux College, and this is lesson 12.1, Gindaswinan, or counting. And today we're just going to be looking at the numbers, and I'm just going to quickly go through those numbers with you. We've broken them down according to their exponents. So we've got ones, tens, hundreds, all the way up to 1,000, and that's pretty much where we're going to end it. Maybe we might combine some numbers. I think part of the lesson is that we're showing how to combine these numbers to create a compound number. But we'll have to see if we have time at the end of the video to put that together. In any event, we're going to just go through this quickly, counting, okay? Ga wi ge go, ga wi ge go, ga ge go means 0 or nothing. Bejik is 1, niche is 2, nswi 3, ni win 4, nanan is 5, godoswi is 6, ngodoswi, ni joswi is 7, ni joswi. Ni is 7. Remember that shape? Okay, sort of like you're sitting down at a desk, and there's your knee forms the number 7. Ni joswi, ni joswi is 8. Zhang sui is 9. Now, if we look at the pattern, we're going to have a pattern established once we get into the 10s, and they change around the 50 mark. So we have 9 zhang sui, 10 is madaswi, 20 is nishtana, simdana is 30, nimdana 40, non-midna, you see a little bit of a change here, non-midna is 50, godos midna is 60, nijwas midna 70, nijwas midna 80, jongs midna is 90. And now we're going to move on to the hundreds column. Ngo duak, Ngoding is the word that means once. Ngoding or Ngodwok means 100. Nijwok is 200. Swok, 300. Niwok is 400. Nonwok, 500. Ngodoswok, 600. Nijwaswok is 700. Ninjaswok, 800. Zhongswok is 900, and finally we get to 10 hundreds. Madaswak, 1,000. Okay, 1,000. Madaswak. Now, before we go, I'm just going to take some of this out, and I'm just going to show you a compound number. Let's say you want to say 777. You're going to start here. This is the important part. This means and or also, and when you add these terms, so you're saying ni joa swak, oops, 700 and ni joas midna. It won't fit. I gotta choose a smaller number next time. Ni joa swak, 777. Ni joa swak, sh, ni joas midna, sh ni joa swi. Okay? All you're going to do in reverse order is you're going to take 100, add the 10, add the number from the ones column. Okay? It's fairly straightforward. It's a lot of writing. I prefer this method, but it works, and this will help you practice with your numbers. You can also play bingo. Yeah, bingo's fun. Anyway, that's it for the numbers. We'll talk again soon. Okay, thanks for coming out. Now, miigwech.
Okay, so don't worry if that video was a little fast. You can always go to the Google Slides, and the link to the video is on the slides, so you can re-watch it and practice your pronunciation. So basically what he was saying, I'm just going to share the Word doc. I don't know why it's so small. There we go. All right, so this is on the Google Drive, so you can print this out or download it on your computer, and basically, I want you to memorize 0 to 10. Anything past 10, we're not going to really work on. Maybe for the intermediate part 2 course, we'll work on that. But it's just nice that you have it here. So we're going to go over the pronunciation for 0 to 10, and then I'll explain basically what he was explaining. So gawe, gawe, gego. Gawe, gego. Gawe, gego. 0. Gawe, gego. So be, shig. Be, shig. Be, shig. Be, shig. So that's 1. So niche. Niche. 2. Ne, swe. Ne, swe. 3. Ni, win. Ni, win. 4. Na, none. Na, none is 5. Nago, das. Nago, daswi. Nago, daswi. 6. Nish, was, swe. Nish, was, swe. 7. Nis, was, swe. Nish, was, swe. 8. So these can be confusing. So nish, waswi. Nis, waswi. Sham, swe. Sham, swe. 9. And then 10 is madaswe. Madaswe. So for any numbers from 11 to 19, this is only if you're writing it. So say you want to say the number 18, you're going to say madaswe, which is 10. She or sha, which is plus. And then 8 would be niswaswe. So madaswe, she, niswaswe. So if you want to write 14, what you would say is madaswi, she, and then look at number 4, ni win. So you would say madaswi, she, ni win. And so if you go past 10 and go into your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, all the way up to 100, you do the same thing, except you would say for the number 22, you'd say nishtana, she, and then look at 2, nish. So you'd say nishtana, she, nish. And then that goes for each number. So when you get to the hundreds, you're obviously going to put she in twice. So for example, I have 125 here. So 100 is nagodwak. Nagodwak. So 125 would be nagodwak. I got that spelled wrong. Nagodwak. She, nishtana, which is 20. She, na, none. Okay, so 125. So always put the biggest number first and she in between, which means plus. All right, so yeah, you can download this and practice your numbers. So the next thing we're going to talk about is nouns. Let me make this big. All right, so nouns either have a prefix or a suffix added to them. So a noun could name things, beings, or abstractions. For example, I have waka igan, which is a house, or animosh, which is a dog. So it depends on whether the noun is animate or inanimate, or whether it is plural, and how it is related to other parts of the phrase. So don't worry about the locative form right now. We'll get into that in the next few sessions, but we're gonna quickly go over animate and inanimate right now. So the next slide. All right. So if a noun is animate, it's considered alive or living. It has a heartbeat or it moves on its own. So an example is ikwe, which is a woman. And if it's inanimate, it does not have any of the animate qualities, then it's considered inanimate. So an example would be makak, which is a box. So it doesn't really have a distinction on male or female for gender. It's basically, is it alive? Is it considered to be alive? Or is it not alive? So nouns referring to people, animals, trees, and spirits belong to the animate class of nouns. So some non-living things are also included in the animate class, although most nouns referring to non-living things are classified as inanimate. So from, a new learner's point of view, this could be confusing, but the only thing I can say is, you know, it is what it is. You can look up these words on the dictionary and it'll tell you if it is animate or inanimate. So you can Google the Ojibwe People's Dictionary. It should come right up. And you can actually search words in Ojibwe or search them in English. So let's search in English and let's type in box. So we go down, we see box, makak. We click that. And you can actually, the cool thing about this site is
Makak.
you can actually listen to all the words. So you can practice your pronunciation this way too. And then if you go over this little box here, it'll tell you that it's an inanimate noun. So when in doubt, just look it up, because sometimes you're not expecting a noun to be animate and it is. So where was I here? All right, so for example, it's easy to understand why words such as dog and birch tree are animate, but it's difficult to understand why star, mitten, and net are animate, and earth, shoe, water, and boat are inanimate. So yeah, so for example, the star, mitten, and net are actually considered animate nouns. So best way to go about it is just to look it up. We're actually going to watch another short video. X out of here.
And so when I thought about it, there's a lot of spiritual aspects in the language, and everything is kind of surrounded around that. When I was in college, the idea that spirituality was debatable was hard to come across. Because in Anishinaabemowin, it's not debated. It's just an accepted fact. There are spirits. They are around, and we feast them, and they direct us and all that. Well, in my psychology class, they said we don't discuss that here because it's not a discipline. And so psychologists trying to describe what occurs in the mind and the brain and biology, there's no room for spirituality in there. Whereas in Anishinaabemowin, you cannot go without the discussion of spirituality. So the existence of the spiritual is just very common. It's just taken for granted, and everything we do is based on how to appease the spirits. And so what happens is that getting back to our discussion about animate, inanimate, certain objects in the language would become alive, and not so much that they have legs and they walk and stuff like that, not the literal translation of a physical being, which they are, but they're alive in terms of spiritual being. So a drum doesn't need to possess legs to walk. So certain items that we have, bima de ziwagin giu dewe ganag, migwanag, minawadash opwagan, get the same arm and on. So, so what happens is that certain objects that you would think are inanimate in English are animate, have spiritual life in the language. The drum, a feather, a pipe, tobacco, just to name a very, very few. But these are the sacred objects and items that we used in the language and in the culture. Some of the objects that are inanimate in English become animate in Anishinaabemowin. For instance, the drum, which is Dewegan, feather, which is Miigwan, tobacco, which is a Sema, and the pipe, which is Upwagan. And so, so what happens is that a little trick in linguistics is that when you pluralize them, they all end in the letter G. For instance, Dewegan, more than one is Deweganug. Miigwan, Miigwanug. And tobacco, I don't know that you can pluralize tobacco. You know, tobacco is tobacco, whether you have 1, 2, or 3. And pipe, Opwagan, Opwaganug. So in that way, when you hear the pluralization of it, they are animate objects. And so the whole language is set up, is how it's set up. So Anishinaabe, more than one, is Anishinaabeg. You know, one of the pet peeves I have is when people try to use English suffixes on Ojibwe words. One of my pet peeves is the word Anishinaabes. You know, you're using the letter S on an Ojibwe word, and that's just not right. It's Anishinaabeg. And so one of the classes we have on campus here is Anishinaabeg of Lake Superior. And everybody said, I thought it was Anishinaabe. Yeah, that's one group, one person, but to pluralize that, that's what it is.
All right, so I think that's a really good video to explain the spiritual aspects of the language, as it's such an important part as we dive deeper. So we're gonna go over a few nouns. So this is called what's on the kitchen table. So let me make this bigger. So you can go get this from the Google Drive. Oh, I went ahead. 1 second. All right. So we're going to go over these nouns and see how much time we have after that. Okay, so number 1 is plate. It's onagin. Onagin. And you could write little dashes in between these words to make it easier to pronounce. So I did that with this bigger word here for cup. So nit, ti, wina, gena, ens. Nit, ti, wina, genens. Nitti, wina, genens. Nitti, wina, genens. So that means cup. So 3 is knife, mok, mokoman. Mokoman. 4 is spoon, emikwan. Emikwan. So 5 is fork. Oh, oops, my bad. Bada, badaka, badaka, igan. Badaka, igan. Okay. I actually can't see the salt because this Zoom sharing thing is on it. One moment. Okay, salt. So she witagan. She witagan. She witagan. She witagan. Salt. Okay, 7 is pepper. Wisagad. Wisagad. Pepper. So 8 is water. Nebe. Nebe. 9 is a tea kettle. Kick. Kick. 10 is a cooking pot. So we're going to break it down. Ji, ba, kwe, wa kick. Wa kick. Wa kick. 11 is a frying pan. Abwewin. Abwewin. 12 is Bannock. Bakwejigan. 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 13 is Partridge. Bene. Bene. 14 is Rabbit. Waboose. Waboose. 15 is a piece of meat, any kind of meat in general. Weeyas. Weeyas. 16 is a duck. Shib. 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 Okay. 17 is an egg. Wawan. Wawan. 18 is a carton of milk. Dodo shabo. Dodo shabo. Dodo shabo. 19 is fish. Gigun. 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 20 is a potato. Open. 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 21 is a carrot. Oh, my bad. Everything's so touchy. One moment. Okay, 21 is a carrot. Okaduck. 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 All right. So you can, I also have a page without the words for the pictures. So you can actually practice your memorization on the slides near the end. So this is an activity we played for one of the live sessions, but it is included in the Google Drive. So you can actually do this activity yourself. So we're going to go over which of these kitchen nouns are animate and inanimate. If it is animate, you would say bish, bish. So bish would mean bring me blank. So if you want to say bring me a partridge, you'd say bish bine. Bish bine. Says that's an animate noun. It's a partridge is alive, so you would clearly know that that's an animate noun. But for some of them, you don't think that they're animate and they are. So they're kind of tricky. So I would recommend that you pull up your Ojibwe dictionary, type in each of these words in English or the Ojibwe version, and I'll tell you whether it's inanimate or animate. If it's inanimate, you would say bidun. So for a plate, that would be an inanimate noun. So you would say bidun onagan, bring me a plate. So yeah, you can complete this activity on the Google Drive. The next thing I want to go over, one sec.
Another good thing that we notice is that Buju is one of our
All right, so we're gonna go over introductions really quickly. So there's a sheet on the Google Drive. It looks like this. It's called Who Are You? And it's a quick introduction that you could work on as your homework for this week. So Wen Nin Jean, who are you? Wen Nin Jean. So this is the sheet you'll see. You could print it out or download it and just fill in the blanks. So if you want to say hello, the two traditional protocols we can go over are Nana Bojo or Bojo. So Nana Bojo is the traditional hello. this was a typical greeting for nearby tribes. So they would say Nana Bojo to newcomers. And if the person didn't say it back, they knew to be wary of this person. And then when French colonizers came over, they would interact and they would say Nana Bojo, and they would reply with bonjour. So Nana Bojo was shortened to Bojo because it was so similar to bonjour, and it was just understood by both cultures. So Anin is the other common greeting you could use. So that means hi. So you can say Anin. So that could be used as a greeting. And what it does is it acknowledges the light within another person that is the same light within oneself. So that's the spiritual meaning behind Anin. This could also be shortened in some communities to Ani. So you might hear Ani, and it means the same thing. And it could also be used as sort of, how are you? How's your life going? And it could also be used in a question. So sometimes it could be used as which or what. So a few different meanings, but the most common one is to say hi. You can also say good morning, which is Mino Gigijeb. Mino Gigijeb. So Gigijeb actually means in the morning. So this doesn't really translate as a greeting in Anishinaabemowin, because you're basically saying it's a good morning when you see the person. But most people know that you could use this as a greeting to say good morning, but it really doesn't translate well. So just keep that in mind. Now we're gonna watch one more video.
So when you talk about your name, there's a thing called protocol that my father kind of coined. What are certain things you should talk about when you go to a different community? Protocol is when you introduce yourself. So you introduce yourself humbly, and then you mention your Gawan opportunity ta Anishinaabe Musi, Edashninga Gagweji Tunji Anishinaabe Moyan. Gagige Benes Indigo, Biju Nindu Dem, Nikikusmina Kaning and Don Jiba. Well, after you start your humbling statement, you're telling your audience your spiritual name. And so Gagige Benes, my spiritual name, is my spiritual identity. Biju Nindu Dem, I'm from the Lynx clan. That's also a spiritual identity, and it's a spiritual designation, and that's where the source is. Nigagutsminakaning and Donjiba. I come from Nigagutsminakaning First Nation. So when you describe yourself that way, then you would dispel anything about any concepts, misconceptions that people may have about you. When you're from Canada, you come to Minnesota and you talk, and you and you identify you're from Canada, and you say certain things. Well, then you're excused if you step on boundaries, local customs or boundaries that you may not be familiar with. Oh, we can excuse him, he's from Canada, he's not aware of our cultural boundaries that we established here. There's not too many laid that way, but in that case, if the same person was from Minnesota to go to Ontario, oh, he's from the United States, that's how they do it over there. And so we need to be respectful of that.
So just being respectful when we introduce ourselves. All right, so how to introduce yourself. So you'd say Anin, and then you'd put your name in the blank, and then you'd say Nadij Nakas. So I would say Anin Chelsea Nadij Nakas. So if you have a clan name, you can state that instead of your English name, and that translates to hello, I am called blank. So Anin Chelsea Nidijnakas. If you want to say where you're from, I'm from Thunder Bay, so I would say Thunder Bay Nindun Jiba. Nindun Jiba. So this is also shortened. So you might hear Nindunji in some dialects, but the full pronunciation is Nindunjaba. So the end word there, Anjaba, actually means to come from a certain place. So if you want to say which clan you're from, so say you were from the Bear clan, you would say, which is Makwa means bear. So you would say Makwa Nindodem. Makwa Nindondem. So that translates to bear is my clan. So another way you could say this is Makwa Dodem Nindaao. Makwa Dodem Nindaao. So that also translates to bear is my clan. So you could use either one of those. If you want to ask someone what their name is, what you would say is Anin. So instead of Anin being used as hello, it's being used as what in this instance. So what is your name? So let's break this down. So Ejin, Ejineka, Ejinekazoyan, Ejinekazoyan. So you'd say Anin Ejinekazoyan. And it has a question mark. So you do want to ask it like a question. So you'd say Anin Ejinekazoyan. So you want to make sure you're putting the question emphasis on that. So it's common for speakers to ask about your clan in a first conversation. It's a complex system based on the animal world and has given Anishinaabe people a way to connect communities and share roles in society for many thousands of years. It's the Anishinaabe custom for people to be part of their father's clan, but not everyone today knows their clan. Some are adopted into clans and some do considerable research to find their clan. Most importantly, when you meet someone and find out their clan, you now know if you can marry that person. If the clan is the same, elders would say, no, try again. All right, so for your first assignment for the week, I would encourage you to go over the sound chart. So practice your pronunciation on the sound chart. Go over your numbers, numbers 0 to 10, and maybe try writing a few of them yourself, and also to work on your introduction. So the sheet looks like this. So you're going to fill it in. So Bojo or Anin Chelsea. Okay, so it'll tell you right next to it what the meaning is. So you'd say your spirit name, Indigo. Indigo. So my spirit name is blank. We went over this one, Chelsea Nidijnakas. My English name is blank. So if you were from the Bear clan, Makwa Nindodem. My clan is. Where you're from, Thunder Bay Nindunjaba. So I want you to just work on this top part, and if you want to add anything in, here's a few extra pieces you could add into your introduction, which is really cool. And here are some extra phrases that you can use as well. So yeah, I think that's it for today. Thank you guys for listening to me. I hope you learned a lot, and feel free to send me an email or Kelsey an email if you have any questions or if you need help getting on the Google Drive, or let me know if you need a practice session too. We could definitely arrange that. And yeah, I'll see you guys for week 2.